And I think it's important to note too, we're not saying that we're talking about the physical structure and the physiological structure is almost identical, but there are differences in how women and men show up each day, right? And that could be influenced by a variety of different things. And there are different hormone levels, right, for men and women, which can also impact different things that happen within the brain itself. We were talking about the chemical cocktail not long ago, and that is to some degree different, especially when we talk about estrogen versus testosterone. So I think that is important to say. It's that the myth of that we have fundamentally different brains is actually not true. The differences just show up in how each different person shows up in their day-to-day life.
And I'm going to read something. It was a study done a few years back. So this is about 10 years ago now in Psychological Bulletin, looked at 500,000 boys and girls from 69 different countries, because there's a myth out there that boys are better at math than girls are better at math. Boys are better at science than girls are better at science. And what was found, contrary to popular belief, is that there was almost no gap in mathematics between boys and girls. That's a pretty big study, 500,000. Let me read it. And when they went back and they re-looked at some of the other studies, they said some of the sloppiest, shoddiest, most biased, least reproducible, worst designed, and most over-interpreted research in the history of science purports to provide biological explanations for differences between men and women. Now, that's not holding things back in a scientific paper. Neuroscientists once claimed that head size, spinal ganglia, or brainstem structures were responsible for women's inability to think creatively, vote logically, or practice medicine. Basically, I want to repeat that first. Some of the sloppiest, shoddiest, most biased, least reproducible, worst designed, and over-interpreted research in the history of science. So I think that's you double click on the word bullcrap, and those were the explanations.
It's important to know that because from a physical perspective, the brains are all basically identical. It's just how each individual shows up in their life and what they were exposed to is when that's for all of us. It shapes behavior, it shapes decision making, it shapes how we choose to show up. And we're by no means saying that the physical part of our bodies are different. Obviously, there is a difference there in our genetic makeup, but the brain itself, when we talk about it from that perspective, that myth is not true.
Yep, I'm going to read something else here. It says, women are thought to outperform men on tests of empathy. They do, unless subjects are told that men are particularly good at the test, in which case men perform as well or better than women.